People in the small town of Wantagh would never have expected their friendly neighbor Gehrig to have such a dark side. Gehrig was a hard-working, 24-year-old male who was an avid churchgoer and everything going for him. In his free time, he'd keep up on his physical appearance, and he dabbled a little bit in basketball. Just a couple of days ago, he met the love of his life at church, named Brenda O'Hara. With all of this going for him, no one would expect what he did on the side for work. He ran a potato chip dealership out of his garage. There really weren't potato chips in the bags. Gehrig was a local drug distributor of high-end cocaine and filled his chip bag with his product. And one Saturday early morning, everything seemed fine, but then it took a total turn when Gehrig was checking his inventory. My name is Detective Stephen Becker. I have 18 years of experience in the homicide department. This case was brought up to me and my officer at command, and I figured, why not? Let's give it a shot. Gehrig gave off the appearance of a well-to-do young man, but a bright future ahead of him. That's why this case was so hard to piece together. He ran an underground cocaine dealership out of his garage. It was a very unique case due to the fact that he was a drug dealer and he sees a lot of different people every day, so it's hard to know who would commit this crime. Officer Ryan Quinn was the first one to respond to the scene.
We received a call around noon from Brenda O'Hara saying she found her boyfriend's dead body in his garage. We found him lying face up on the ground with a bullet wound to the back of the head. There was no evidence of a struggle.
Brenda O'Hara was immediately the prime suspect due to her background. She and Gehrig had just started dating after recently separating with her husband. She had a background of addiction and was known as a gold digger. She was the only person that Gehrig told about his underground business. Diego Pastrami was the blood spatter analysis at the crime.
When I arrived at the crime scene, I noticed right away the blood around Gehrig's body. From the spatter of the blood, I could tell that Gehrig was shot from at least 5 feet away. Around 30 feet from where Gehrig was laying, we found a mask that had blood which matched up to the victim's blood. It showed that the assailant most likely wore a mask to cover his face from any blood or possible evidence, but dropped the mask on his getaway from the crime scene.
David Semler is the lead hair analysis at the crime.
I got to the scene about 20 minutes after Diego arrived. When I got there, he told me about the mask, and I figured there might be some hidden evidence inside of the mask. When I looked inside, I saw a single strand of hair, which did not match the victim, so it had to be from the assailant.
Bien?
See. Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man.
The last person Garrick had contact with was his friend Mids.
Yeah, G and I go way back. I mean, I remember when we used to dress up as Batman and Robin together. Anyway, I never expected this to happen. He was always a good kid. I mean, we occasionally, but I never knew he ran his own business. He was a well-to-do kid, and it's a shame that he had to get his life taken away so early. Roderick McKinley was on his morning stroll when he saw a man running. This was the first witness at the crime scene.
I was minding my own business outside the woods on my daily stroll throughout the town as I'm watching my weight when I noticed this shirtless dude just speed walking, and he looked very cautious. Anyway, I let him be, but I saw him enter the woods, and I kind of took off running once he entered the woods. I waited a little bit, then followed in the direction he was going. When I saw a freshly dug hole deep in the woods, I called police right away, just because I couldn't believe what I saw.
When we arrived in the woods where Roderick was, we saw in the hole a .44 caliber handgun that was attempted to be buried. Roderick also told us how he saw a distinct mark on the back of the suspect. It was a tattoo of an anchor with the words family written on it. I couldn't believe this because this was such a breakthrough in the case. We contacted every tattoo parlor within 15 minutes of the crime scene to see if anyone gotten this tattoo within the past month. Luckily, one store said that they gave out this tattoo to a 26-year-old named Alec Beard. When we ran a background check on Alec, we found shocking news. He and Garrick used to be very close until Garrick got greedy one day and wanted the coke business to himself. He called the police on Alec, saying how he was selling cocaine out of his house, and the authorities arrested him and put him away for 3 years. Eric Turner is the fingerprint expert at this crime scene.
When we analyzed the gun, we found 2 latent prints on the barrel of the gun. When we matched it to Alec Beard's fingerprints, there was a match. We knew from that point on we were very close to closing this case. Jacob Luttinger was the ballistic expert in the case.
We retrieved a bullet from Garrick's body that looked like it may match the type of bullet that would come out of the .44 caliber gun that we found buried in the woods. Through testing, we found that we were able to match the stray bullet to the gun that we found in the woods. The fingerprints helped us prove in court that Alec Beard was the last person to have the gun in his possession.
When your cable company keeps you on hold, you get angry. When you get angry, you go blow off steam. When you go blow off steam, accidents happen. When accidents happen, you get an eye patch. When you get an eye patch, people think you're tough. When people think you're tough, people want to see how tough. And when people want to see how tough, you wake up in a roadside ditch. Don't wake up in a roadside ditch. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Jay Woody's was a friend of Al's that hung out with him the day before.
Yeah, me and Alec, we hung out the day before, and he was acting a little strange. I mean, he just got out of jail, so maybe that had something to do with it, but he's still the same old Al. I mean, he just kept talking about an eye for an eye and how Gehrig should get what he deserves, but I never thought he would actually do it. When we brought Alec in for questioning, he was very cooperative. He admitted to having a problem with Gehrig in the past, but he said that he had settled it even when he was released from prison. When we said that the fingerprints and the hair follicles matched his, he was immediately sprung into defensive mode. He told us that he was at the local beach that day with his friend. When asked who the friend was, he got very angry and refused to speak to us until his lawyer was present. At this point, I knew that we got him.
Once I was released from prison, I knew I had to give Gehrig what he deserved. I approached cautiously, wearing a mask and pants to make sure I left no DNA evidence behind. As I got closer, I grabbed my gun and pulled the trigger before he could react. As I left the scene of the crime, I ditched my mask on the ground so I didn't look suspicious walking the streets. I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling forensic experts and your forensic evidence.
Boo, you